Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. As the title suggests, we're looking at Warlord Epic today. First of all, I thought a completed unit, and that is the Covenanters for the English Civil War. I still call it the English Civil War. I mean, it's now called the War of the Three Kingdoms. You know, historians keep wanting to change things all the time. You call it what you like. It's the English Civil War to me. So these are Scott's Covenanters. Lovely figures. I really did enjoy working on these. These were about 3 sprues that my Mara Paul over at the Plastic Monkey channel sent me, and just said, paint them up, put them on eBay for yourself. And Paul, very grateful for that. I've enjoyed painting them, and I'll see if I can sell them. I did flirt with the idea of doing an English Civil War army, and I still might. I quite enjoyed these figure poses. They're very nice. Then again, I get pulled to Napoleonics in this type of scale as well. I've done different tartans. Some of them had more like a blue sash on them that I was seeing with the reenactors, which is I've used to base these off. This is why there's some have got different colour bonnets, because that's what the reenactors were showing. Tartan obviously wasn't anything like clan tartans. That really came about, I believe, in the Victorian times more than any other period. The colours are mainly my normal way of painting. I paint them obviously slightly more garish, I suppose you could call it, higher highlights, just so they stand out more. This is the Earl of Talabardine's unit. I mean, that's a name I recognise more from the Williamite period and the War of Ireland. But yeah, I've tried to mix up the colours very slightly, and I think that succeeded. But keeping like a hodden greyish type of tones for the majority of them. The colours stroke flags are painted on by me. I didn't obviously, because he got the single sprue. They don't come with colours, so I just painted my own. Yes, they're rough, but to be honest with you, when they're down there, all right then, they look rough still, but it is what it is, as they say. I'll show you the type of colours that Warlord do for them, because I've got some others to show that I've just bought on a sprue. I've just bought more or less a box of them without them actually having the box. A bit hard to explain, but we'll see them in a minute. But yeah, really nice, very enjoyable, and highly recommended. If you give them a try, get a sprue maybe off eBay. The only thing, make sure you get some bases with them if you want to base them on the Warlord plastic bases, which I did. But they'll come, like all of the Warlord stuff, you'll get a central regiment, let's call it, so 4 bases, whether it's Napoleonics, ancients, you name it. Then they'll normally have some type of, at least in the Napoleonic and in this English Civil War period, stroke War of the Three Kingdoms, you'll normally get a gun of some to make a battery up out the 3 sprues, and you'll normally get sometimes a command figure on each sprue, and what else, Cav? And sometimes it'd be cavalry and infantry, but they mix them up. So if you do buy a sprue, you'll definitely get your central regiment. But if you wanted to say like Napoleonic light infantry, which I'll be showing you on another video, you will have to get like the 3 sprues out of a box. So sometimes it can be easy just to buy a box. It'll definitely be cheaper for you. The box breakers that sell you these things, if you just want to add to your collection, that's a way to go. I get single sprues sometimes just because I can turn them around for a bit of cash once I've painted them, but I don't get all of the units. So I've started going more to buying a box, just hang the expense, buy the box, and go down that route. Graphs is just static graphs that I use my flop box to make it stick up roughly. There's not a lot you can do on these bases, but I'm happy to use these bases. So there you go. They've still got to have a couple of coats of clear coat stroke varnish. again, whichever way you want to call it. So I thought I'd show you those. I hiked out, I think that's a professional word, I hiked out the last remaining unit of my old guard box. I still have the smaller units, the engineer unit and the, what else unit comes with it? Oh, the Marines of the Guard. I still have those to do. I just clip them off and put them in my Epic box. I've got a box full of odds and sods of Epic. And I'll get round to those when I get round to them. I've got a couple of line regiments to show you coming up, and a light infantry 95th Rifles, or you could have painted them as the 60th Royal Americans. So this was the last in the box. Thought get it done, Gav. Again, you get your 4. It'll make up 4 bases when they're done. As you can see, it's still a work in progress. I was just starting to do the grenades on the top of the bear skin. Oh, yep, that one's got one as well. I think I've done 3 last night. I think I've got quite happy with the blues that I've got there. I've still got to do the dreaded cross belt, which aren't too bad. I'll use that with a sky grey and then hit them with an off-white. And I need to do the bayonets, so I want to put the bayonets, some silver on the bayonets, just to get them a bit more, shiny. If you want your reds to pop slightly more, I've not done it on the epaulets on these, but I did do it on. All right then, Gav, why don't we just show the nice tubes as the tops of the bear skins? You can't really see it there. And was it really worth it when I went and put a couple of white dots on for the grenade? I don't know, but I use wine red, which is like a dark red, and then I'll just put a blob of ivory on the top. Then I put like a blood red, so a slightly brighter red on top of that. And because you've got that white blob underneath it, it'll make your red pop a bit more. And then I cover it up with a couple of white dots. So you could do that on the epaulets if you wanted to go that far. I didn't. You could do it on the couple of turnbacks that you've got there, and on the couple of cuffs that you can just about see. I did think about doing it on the cuffs just to get them to pop a bit more, and I might go back to that. Depends again. It's all at how much time and effort you want to throw into what you're doing. These are just for sale. I've said on the just now. I thought they were a good idea when they brought them out. Some people whinge about them. I don't see what's the only thing that I wasn't overly enthusiastic. I wouldn't say impressed. Overly enthusiastic would probably be better, because I was very enthusiastic about the infantry. I don't know if this might have been first or second box I bought and put up of Epic ages ago, and I just never got around to doing this unit. But the cavalry, that's the word I was after. These earlier Napoleonic ones, I wasn't overly enthusiastic about the cavalry. I thought they looked more like gaming pieces. I don't know why. I just didn't have that draw on me. But I've seen some of the later ones for this Civil War and that English Civil War, and they seem different to me. They seem just a bit more. They have a bit more to them. It's hard to explain. But yeah, the cavalry I wasn't overly enthused with. I just thought as I was talking, I'd show you these. I've got the colours, and that's the other thing. If you buy a box, you get a colour sheet. So I keep explaining. I was in the army, British Army. We don't call them flags; we call them colours. And you get your commanders with each unit. So yeah, I call them colours. Talking about colours, this is what I bought. No, not a colour sheet, but these are what you get. It's not for me to tell you. You could put them and scan them and have as many as you wanted. I won't do that because I sell them. If these were for me, I would definitely be buying them, because I don't agree with scalping companies like that. So all mine are either hand painted on, and no, I am not going to try and paint these. So these came. I got these in a deal. I wasn't looking to buy Napoleonic Prussians, and this is what these are. and I saw these for sale from there's a guy on eBay. Go and check him out. He's called the Last Nazgul, I think, up the road from me in Wolverhampton actually, and he he buys up collections, I suppose. Whether he's a box breaker as well, I'm not sure. But I reckon these have come from a larger box, like the Lingy set that they do, because they didn't have a box with them, but they were the right number of sprues, which is 3. And he was selling one lot without the colour sheet and one with. And I just thought, I think it was about £1.50 more. And I thought, well, if I bought these off a box breaker separately, by the time I paid the postage, I'm going to be paying more. So for 20 quid, which they normally retail at £30 a box these days, with the price increases going all around the world. 20 quid was a good deal. So Gav had no intention of painting Prussians in particularly, and is now painting Prussians, or will be. So we've got bottom right some cavalry colours. These ones are generic for the Landwehr, not always known about what colours they had, if any. So, but they do give you these for some of the Landwehr. You've got other, I think there's a few Landwehr on here. Landwehr are like reserve units. They'd have a mix of people with no military background, but they'd also throw some reservists in that had been released back to Civvy Street, and they got called up to have a sprinkling of people with knowledge amongst the battalion, and the officers would be seconded, I believe, from regular service as well. And then you've got your regulars. I will probably just go, to be honest with you, from one end, because I've got regulars from one end, and work down and then up and all that good stuff. So there you go, there's a colour. I'm only going to show you one sheet. Let's try and say that when you had a drink. One sheet, and it sounds Spanish, doesn't it? And can we get in there closer? Will you give me a close-up shot? One more? Oh, I don't. We'll go further than that. There you go. There's our Prussians. If you fancy doing this type of thing, you've never done anything before, Prussians are a fairly simple uniform to do. Landwehr tends to be a bit more mixed up, just because they got the slops off the British and anything else that was knocking around. But not always off the British, but you know what I'm trying to say. But these are more regular uniforms. So you've got a black shako cover, like an oilskin cloth, Prussian blue jacket, grey trousers. You can do like a German grey, very dark, like so black grey, gaiters, and then obviously small boots underneath. White cross belts, I believe, and slings, all that good stuff. Calf skin at the back. I won't bother turning them around. The only thing that denotes the different regular regiments is the colour of the cuffs and the collar, as well as the colours of flying, obviously. So yeah, nice. These have got a tiny bit more flash on than I've seen on any other sprue I've ever had of Warlord. I always like to tell it like it is. Can you see that? There's a bit of flash on. Not nothing that a scalper won't cure. But yeah. How does Gav clean them up? Realistically, anything that you can see, I'll put a scalpel over, as in that's easy to see. So Gav, let's show the people this one. There's a mould line there you might just be able to see, although there will be buttons up his gaiters, so you can't really carve it out that much. But if there's a mould line on any type of epic figure, on the outside figure, I'll normally trace it round with a scalpel, remove where possible, and his mate at the end do the same. The only thing I do on the centre figures is I will run a scalpel over the top of, say, shakos. You can't really see it. There will be a mould line there somewhere. I usually put I put a scalpel across the shako, remove that, and then I will normally, if they're easy to get to, and if there's not a load of buttons involved, I will just go a scalpel around each individual figure near the gaiters and stuff, and that's it. In this case, there's a bit of thrift, bit of flash around the bayonets and the muskets, which unfortunately is going to have to be dealt with. I'll say it's not a biggie, but it's probably the most flashiest of all the sprues I've ever had. and I've done a fair few now. These are your light infantry. As I said before, if you buy one sprue, you'll get something like this. So they make up one base. Then you've got your main unit making a base up. You've got one artillery piece, as you can see there, and one command figure. So just bear that in mind if you only want to buy one sprue off eBay of any of these type of things. So you can see the flash around these muskets here. Not a huge thing, but it's just something you're going to really have to deal with. Apart from that, don't go overboard on the cleanup. I usually give them a wash off just to make sure that there's no release agent on them. There normally isn't. You normally feel it and see it. Yeah, that's it really. So I look forward to showing you progress on these, because I probably will be doing these next. I've almost finished the Ebor Miniatures War of the Spanish Succession Webb's Infantry Regiment, British. I'll be showing you some before they're stuck down in an up and coming video. I've also got a couple of ancient sprues that Paul sent to me at the time I did the Covenanters. I've just not had the enthusiasm yet to do those, but I will do at some stage. Again, you'd have to buy, if you wanted all the extra bits like these bits here, obviously they're not canon in the ancient days, but whatever make chariots and stuff they have, you'd have to have 3 sprues. And that's where if you go to Box Breakers and buy 3 individual sprues, it's going to cost you more probably than buying a box, I would think. So look after yourselves. I hope that little tour of the Epic scale range has been helpful. You're looking height-wise, I should have said, it's normally measured from bottom of the foot to the eye. And I think these are around, are they about 13.5 mil, something like that. But I think they're designed for big battles, really, because you obviously all ranked up even. That's a very military term, Gav, road. Ranked up, they make a big solid mass of figures, and there's enough detail to you to paint a lot of detail on them, or you can just paint them in block colours, and that's all people see across the table. You have the stuff that I paint for ages and ages next to somebody who's just putting block colours on them, and you would not tell the difference, honestly. So don't get hung up about doing loads and loads of details if you don't want it. So that's it. I haven't been paid by Warlord to push their products. This is my own ideas and that. I just thought you might be interested in what I was doing. Look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other very soon on another video.